Hello. Hi, everyone. I hope this is coming across. It's a minute early, but I thought I'd get started since I'm here and I'm ready, and I see some of you online. You may not be in here yet. Hello, hello, and come on in. This is Makers Monday, number 29. Let me know when you come in and let me know who's here. Hi, Janetta. Great to see you. Your first one here. Sending you a big hug on this rainy, yucky day. Do you have anyone with you, Janetta, or are you just hiding out in your place? I see someone else is coming in. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you're here. Hi, Sarah. Glad you're here. I'm going to go ahead with my intro for people that watch this later. I am Laura Mester. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 2 years. And I am a silver demonstrator, which means I've come up a little bit in the ranks. And I have been doing Facebook Lives for a year. Next Tuesday, that will be our year anniversary of Facebook Lives. So that will be fun. Go ahead, and if you don't see people here and they're supposed to be here, invite them in. So, how is everyone doing out there? I know, I don't know if you can see it. I was trying to wear a green shirt for St. Patrick's Day. That's coming up this week. I made a green drink. Doesn't look green, though. Add a little food coloring to a gin and tonic. I had a little too much for now, though, so I set it aside. Hi, Barbara. Great to see you. We're just talking about what we're doing and how St. Patrick's Day is coming up. So, and I will tell you, when I added my little drop of green to my drink, my green food coloring, I stained my hands worse than I ever do when I do my stamping. I managed to not get too inky. So if you have the right tools, you can avoid getting inky. Hi, Renee. Welcome in. Great to see you. And we all just survived the time change. Hi, Donna. Glad you could make it tonight. Did everyone weather the time change okay? I know it can be tricky for people that are have animals or young ones in the house. They don't readjust as quickly as us humans do to the time change, but never stops us from stamping, does it? Well, I'm glad you're here, and I want to thank you all for sharing in the group your creations that you're making. Those of you that may not know about the group, that might be watching the page for the first time or watching this later, I have a separate group in conjunction. Hey, Sylvia, welcome in. And hi, Cindy. And this group functions alongside of this page. It's just a place where we can connect more quickly and easier and share some things a little easier than with the whole wide world. So if anyone's interested in the group that's not in it, let me know and look for it and ask to be added, or I can add you. So enough business on that end. We always talk about what's new because something new is always going on. Stampin' Up! Is getting great about really keeping things fresh. So one thing that's new is something that I do is I did it last month and I did it again this month is I'm sending out a newsletter, and the newsletter kind of is a quick go-to place. It's an email that I send to you based on the email that I have on record. And it's a quick go-to place if you want to check dates for anything, like if you're in the card challenge and when is that done, or if you want to come to the next in-person event, when is that, or when's the next live. That's all spelled out for the month in my once a month email newsletter. So if you don't see that, it goes out about the 11th or 12th of each month. So if you didn't see that or don't see that, first double check in your emails, because you know how things get hidden if you don't flag it as something you want to see. So just double check. If you haven't seen it yet, I've sent 2 of them now. One last month and one this month. Check your spam. Check in your promotions. You can search for Laura's Legacy Stamps because it's coming from me, and then make sure you highlight it to go to your inbox next time. And if anyone's not getting the email that would like it, just message me and I will make sure that you get that. So I know email sounds old-fashioned, but it stays in one place as opposed to social media that moves so quick it can be hard to keep up. Something else that's new, and I think I talked about this during our room, but didn't talk about it during a live, is Stamping Up has come out this month starting March 3rd, and this will go to May 2nd? March 2nd till May 3rd. Ha, almost got it. If you love butterflies, they came up with this new butterfly suite, and it's a series of 2 papers and butterfly stamps. If you notice that one stamp, it's one of those connected. It's almost as big as a background stamp, which we will talk about background stamps today. So it will stamp all the images at one time, and there's an interconnected die that will cut them all out at one time. So that's new. That stamp set and die set will carry over into the new catalog that comes out the beginning of May, which is a change from other years. They've knocked it back 1 month. But one aspect of this set will not carry over, and over here's a sheet that shows all the various little, there's the stamps that are the solid image, and there's the stamps that are the lined image. And I believe there's 2 die sets, one that's connected and one that has individuals. I'd have to look at that better. The second line shows you the designer series paper. There's a beautiful set of 6x6 colored designer series paper. And then there's the specialty papers. And when they make specialty papers, they are over the top. This is, if you like wood grain, this has subtle wood grain, and it's also got a little texture to it. So it's really, really interesting. I know certain people love to grab their packs. I didn't look at it. Usually these are a pack of 2 sheets or maybe 5 sheets. It just depends. And they're usually about $5. Now this one's, where is it? Yeah, it's $5 and it's 2 sheets. And they're 12 by 12 probably. That's typically what they do with their special ones. You can go to my website, and actually on the Stamping Up, to answer your question, Renee, you can find these on the website, and they're underneath. It'll show you, if you look what's new, there's a what's new headline there, and it also comes up as one of the main big images, the butterflies. So you'll see them there, and I will post this information later at the end. So, hi Sharon, glad to see you come in. We're just still talking about what's new and everything. I was worried we may not find you because you were chasing after your wayward cat there. Sharon has a very gymnastic cat that likes to go places it shouldn't. She can fill you in on that. The other thing that's new right now, of course, is that for my Paper Pumpkin ladies, and for those of you that aren't Paper Pumpkin ladies, you should consider it. It's our monthly kit. They announced the next kit coming up, and it's based on, it coordinates with the sweet ice cream bundle and suite that is in our current mini catalog. So it coordinates with, in there's a stamp set for it, and there's these papers, and there's all the colors and stuff. The papers really coordinate. But so they bounced off that idea and created this Paper Pumpkin. And it's actually, it's being billed as a kid-friendly set. So it has stickers, and it shows you pulling it out and using it with your grandkids or your children. So it'd be very helpful for that. Hi, Terry. Welcome in. But this will be the next one. It coordinates with that, like I said, the sweet ice cream bundle. And it describes it as having 12 fun-shaped cards. And I posted a video, and it shows them in the shape of popsicles, some of them. And the envelopes are a full 4.5 by 5 3/4. So it's not a mini thing. They'd be large, but they're actually, the cards are actually shaped like the popsicle. So that's really, really a different and unique set. It sounds really cute. So, but that's the next Paper Pumpkin, and that's available for you to order up until, you have to get in line for it by April 10th. So enough of that end of the business. I'm glad everyone's in here. Today I'm going to highlight some techniques and some tips. So I won't come out with a full card made, but I usually never do. I at least go through some of the process. But tonight I'm going to go over sponge inking, because and I don't know where it's gone. I've got so much stuff on this table. But, oh, here it is, right in front of me. For my paper pumpkin ladies, and also for any of you out there that have stencils, the next paper pumpkin coming, which is the one that should arrive to us, gosh, this week. We should all be getting, if you're in line for a paper pumpkin kit, should be coming this week. And this is the one that included the free stencils and the free sponge. So I thought I would spend a little bit of time talking about sponge inking tonight. We have done, if you look back, I'm not going to actually do some inking because I've done that in previous videos. So if you look back, you can find lives that show about embossing using stencils and show about inking with sponges. So, but I am going to turn down, we're going to talk about a little bit about the maintenance of your sponge. Yes, you should be, Sharon. And the other products we have available to go with those free stencils you're going to be getting in your free sponge. So we'll also go over some background stamps and sponging of ink onto background stamps to create some interesting images. For those of you that don't know, background stamps are at the very back of the annual catalog. There's a page and it has like 6 of our current background stamps on it. And there is one in the little mini catalog, the smaller catalog. It's the row. It's a full size rose. Oh, good to hear that, Sharon. I was wondering about that. A full size rose pattern. Basically, well, we'll take a look at them when I turn down, but they are large stamps. And then we're also, the one thing that would be fun, I asked everybody to try to tell me what the special technique was on a card. I had this card that I posted in the group, I think, this past week. And I said, does anyone know what special technique was used on this card? And if you look at the, I can never work backwards with my fingers, but if you look at this little flower pot, it's not colored with ink. It is actually a piece of designer series paper that has been stamped on with Memento black ink, and then you either punch it or die cut it. This had to be fussy cut because there's no punch or die that goes along with that. But that's where the coloring on that came from. And that technique is called paper piecing, where you use designer series paper that has a colored pattern to it, and that's actually the coloring in your image. So let's turn down and take a look at those things. All right? Bear with me, girls. Figure out what we're doing. There we go. Okay. Hopefully this will work. This is my new setup here. I used to be in the other area, and I just found that it was better. I had more room here to lay things out. It's just a matter of trying to find I don't have my laptop or my, actually my mainframe that I use to keep track of what's going on with everybody. So there we go. So I have to use my iPad, which isn't quite as reliable, to try to keep an eye on things. And I think, let me see. Oh, yes, and I can see now on my iPad what your comments are. So I might be able to follow along and see. So if you think you're talking about me and I don't notice, I might see that now. All right, so down here I have some of the items that are usually involved when you're inking and using stencils. Of course, I don't have the new stencils yet that are coming. And I don't know that these are going to be full-size stencils that we get for free. They might be a smaller size. They might be more like a 3x3 or a 4x4. But those are our free ones we're going to get. This is the current set of stencils that are in the, I wish I had a blank sheet here. That'll work. This current set of stencils that are in the catalog, the annual catalog now. And they're inexpensive. I think it's $8 for the 6 of them, or it might be $6 for the 4 of them, because there's not 6 of them, there's 4 of them. So it's either $6 or $8, and you get these 4 images. You get this filigree one, and then there's product management is an issue right now. There we go. This here is a polka dotty one, which is fun. And we worked last week with the trees. We didn't ink, we did embossing with them. And we created this card last week, if you remember, or if you weren't here. So, but you could ink with that too, which I did do. I showed that. So if you look back, I think it was last week, well, it wasn't last week, but it was our last live. You will see that I also sponge inked within the stencil to create those. And the other one is this cute leaf pattern, which I used that quite some time ago. I don't have an active card to show you. But anyway, we're going to receive the other great stencils, and you're going to receive the ones of you who did this with Paper Pumpkin, and we actually sell these in the back of the catalog. You're going to receive a round sponge. Now, I don't have a full round one right now. I've kind of cut up the ones that I had. Now, the best thing to do, and I didn't know this when I was cutting mine up, but I'll do it with my next one, is to take and cut it in pie wedges, because that just gives you the easiest way to either grab onto, to dab in your ink, and then onto your stencil and paper. Or you could get any number of things, probably. Hair clips, clothespins, clips that are used for potato chip bags. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could use. Binder clips. Just something to help you get less inky, because you can, if you're not being careful, get a little more ink on yourself than you wish with that. And these rinse out. So there's no need. That one didn't, because that one looks like I used a drop of actual ink on probably a block and soaked up the drop, so I couldn't get it all out. But when I normally, because you can do several things to ink, and you can look back and see that in the lives. You can either daub onto an ink pad, you can sponge onto the ink pad and then onto your stencil and paper. You can put a drop of ink and a little bit of glycerin onto a stamping block, and then you just use the sponge to mix the items together to give you more liquidity with your ink. Depends on the look you're going for. You may not want a liquid look, you may want a distressed look. But that's what I wanted to mention about sponges. Also, one other item that is good to use is to have a silicone mat. We sell these. For some reason, it's listed. It's on the website. It's shown on the page with the adhesives, I believe, in our annual catalog. But these are all great items to have if you're going to be stenciling. So, just kind of a show and tell with that. Put all these things away. The next thing, let's talk about this one real quick. This is an example of using the stencil, and I just grabbed, I need to make a card for the mailman, so I just was playing with this. I pulled out, this is how I store my old Paper Pumpkins. I have these clear envelopes that I put them into, but this was actually last March, and it was a great set. It was a double set. And March is their anniversary of Paper Pumpkin, so they usually give you 2 different stamp sets in it, or this time they're giving the stamp set and the stencils. But wonderful spring images of rain boots and thunder and rain, and it was very appropriate considering last year in March with the pandemic. And it was saying, no matter the weather, we're in this together and wishing for brighter days ahead. And this was created before anyone knew there would be a pandemic, so that was kind of prophetic. But and using this as a background stencil, I created, these were bonus stamps, like I said, and I was using the doorway. I created a mask, which is stamping onto something. This is a little sticky note. So I created a mask of the image. and adhered it onto the card front that I'm making. I'll trim this down and put it on a card base. And with that masked off, I was able to use a sponge and use it to create the orange bricks, or the yellow bricks. And I think it's So Saffron bricks. And then I just used a piece of paper after I'd done this stamping with stamps from that pumpkin, paper pumpkin. I masked off that area and just sponged in a little green, gave it a real mottled look, this is where you wouldn't want a liquidy look. You would want it to look a little rough like grass, and filled in with that. So that's what you can do with some sponge inking. There's all kinds of things you can do, obviously. I also, when we were talking about trying to figure out how we did this technique here, I was doing my Throwback Thursday card, and this Throwback Thursday card, I pulled out, the throwback was this retired background stamp. And background stamps are really big because you can do an entire card with this. It's that big. This is, I love this. This is the crackle paint. Like I said, this is a retired one. It was for Throwback Thursday. We do have a stamping block big enough. Most often, background stamps are either used with a Stamparatus or because you stamp differently. You lay the paper on top of it and press down on it to get your image and then lift off. But a lot of people do what I've done here, is they just put their stamp right inside, and it lives inside here and never comes out, right inside your case. So that's kind of a neat technique you can use. This is the only kind of stamp, as most of you know, stamps used to be wooden. They'd have wood, and then they'd have this red rubber with the foam in between. The background stamps are the only stamps that Stampin' Up! Still sells wooden versions of. If you look in the catalog, just beware. If you don't want the wood, make sure you buy the one that's a little less expensive, because that'll be the one that they call the cling stamps. They have the red rubber on them. So, but anyway, that's how I use primarily how I use my background stamps. And to do this, I have used this before. I think some of you probably saw some of my old cards on my site where I just used it as a full image behind and inked it solidly. Now to do that, I just applied with the ink pad directly onto that. I didn't use the sponging technique, but I had to use the sponging technique to get this image the way I wanted it, because I wanted this really distressed, random background look. So to do that, you use your sponge to just ink up parts of this. I found that if I tried to do that with either the ink pad or an ink spot, it left like clear, definitive lines, which didn't give me this fuzzy look to it. So you definitely would want to sponge your ink on. So that's one thing to do with sponging and inking as well. And I made a couple of those, so I'll show you. I made this version, and I also did this one here. So that was a lot of fun to do. It just was a different thing, a different image that I'd never done. But like I said, that was a retired product. If you're interested in any other, what's one of the ones, I do have one of the current background stamps, and that is, the one I have is called Dry Brush. And this one, I'd only used it, I think, once or twice before, and I hadn't gotten back to it yet. And this is currently there. I had created this card, and I just thought it was really neat. Just with one color, it gave you the background, and then you can over stamp the background colors with black to create a quick and simple card. So I thought that was really neat at the time. Well, when I was working with the other background stamp and doing the sponging where you could get a rougher look, a more distressed look, I thought, oh my goodness, I want to try to create a background with this. So in doing that, all kinds of, I haven't gone anywhere other than create the background yet, but it opens the door to all kinds of possibilities. So I left it in here like I did before, and I put ink in it, but I used different inks. I didn't use just one color. So what I ended up with is the first one, I blended colors by applying them directly to the stamp. So I put a layer of, I think it was soft suede, and then I did probably pear pizzazz, and it might have been balmy blue. And I ended up with these two really interesting landscape type feel to them. So that I thought would be great to redo this with and have a whole background image. Or I thought I should really go ahead and do a layer of blue at the bottom for water, and then the sand, and then the landscape. And you could even add a little bit of yellow and orange in there. So there's an idea you can do with your sponging on any of your stamps. And then I went one step further, and I created, because I love sunsets, so I created a sunset version of it. So just an interesting technique by sponging onto your stamps to create different colors. I will tell you, when I was doing this, I was careful. I would put down the separate color, and then, because you really don't want to mix, because it starts to look muddied, which it did here a little bit. And here I was much more defined. So I think you might want to stick more to that. But I did try to blend a little bit, but I did not want to take color back to my stamp pad. So just keep that in mind as you're doing that technique. So just more things you can do, because you'll have sponges, and what you could do with them. If you have background stamps especially, or even on stamps that are big stamps that you might already have. So, and I guess, of course, if someone's looking for one of these, you could speak up. I'll have some paper piercings later, so I can mail some of these out to you. But I really haven't made that many yet. I'm going to keep at least one of them to make a card. So, one other quick item before I go to the paper piercing is, here's a card that I did using sponges. The sponges I used for this, though, were roller sponges and our ink. And we have these in the back of the catalog. If you talk about all the ways to sponge or color, of course, you're beginning that sponge in the paper pumpkin, but you can use these rollers, which I've used, and they give you a very smooth inked look. I'm pretty sure there's a live where I've used these. I know there is. Excuse me. But these are in the catalog too. I think it's, you get the 2 handles and you get 4 of the sponge rollers. So, and then you come out with this type of look, a really smooth, gentle progression. And it's really a lot of fun to do. So, but that's another quick little tip on those. But let's get to the paper piecing, because that's really, really an interesting thing. So, where to start? I did not make a card of this. Let me show you. I did go ahead and, that one's stuck. Ha. I worked with the umbrella stamp set and the umbrella punch. So what you need to do is you need to, and I'm going to do one all the way through for you, but just pick some colors. I could have picked the opposite side of this one. I picked the gold and the green, but I could have gone on that side as well. But as your paper gets busier and darker, you won't be able to see the black lines. So look what happens when you can't see the black lines. So you use your Versamark ink and you do white embossing. So that's, and I just love, this is from the green is from the Ornate Garden Suite, and the floral, of course, is from the, is it Field and Flowers or Flowers and Field, which was in the Celebration free items. Look at those little boots. They're so adorable. Anyway, I can see me wanting to make a lot more of these with the embossing. But you can, if you have black ink, you can make any of these images. So let me show you how to do a set. And if you don't have punches or dies that coordinate with the stamp set, you're going to fussy cut it, because the boots didn't have, the boots are not part of my punch. If you look, all it has is the umbrella, the 2 umbrellas, and you can actually cut out the umbrella handle. But the boots are easy enough to fussy cut. So I'm not against fussy cutting. All right. So I'm just going to quick use the Stamparatus for this. This is our stamping platform. For those of you that may not have seen it, just a quick and easy way, rather than me juggling with stamping blocks and stuff. Keeps things in the same spot. I have these are photopolymer, not red cling. So remember, when you're stamping, you always want a bit of foam in the equation. There's no foam on a photopolymer. Foam just gives a little give to it, so you get a better image. So the Stamparatus has a layer of foam on it. So I take that off if I have a red rubber cling. I did that so I'd know where to put my paper. So you just want to look for some papers. This was from the plaid series that was in our last mini catalog. That, of course, was the Field and Flowers, or Flowers and Field. Even that side would be cute. This is from the designer series paper of the new In Colors. That's where I got that color for the flower pot. If you notice the mottled look, that's exactly what's on there. Perfect for a flower pot, I thought. Not in pink, or maybe in pink. And then this is the Forever Greenery. So just look at your DSPs, your designer series paper, or if you don't have designer series paper, do some quick stamping onto a colored set of cardstock and use that. So I'm going to use the yellow. I think this will be really cute. Oh my gosh, that'll make great boots. So just going to hold this down. These are your magnets. Never get them close together if you pick this up. They're extremely tight. I'm going to black on here. I see you guys. I can see your comments. Yes, you can have them. Who's ever asking yes. And Renee, no, I'm not talented. I've just been learning. You saw me a couple years ago. I've shown people the cards I made back 2.5, 3 years ago. I just keep watching and trying to learn. And when you guys share with me, it helps me as much as me sharing with you. So the beauty of Stamparatus is that after you've inked and stamped, if you don't like your stamp image, if it's not stamped well enough, you can re-ink and stamp right over the same spot. Might be hard to do. It lifted up on me. It was a long piece of paper. But they came out pretty good. All right. Let me just get my Simply Chamois for cleaning so I don't get ink everywhere. Mine's been around a long time. It's kind of, they keep working for a while. I guess eventually they wear down, but goodness, I've had this for over a year. So I have enough ink on me from my food dye, from my green drink, which we will have a cheers at the end over that. This out of the way. Here we go. So grab your punch. I'll show you the trick. There's a trick to punching. For those of you new to punching, to make sure you punch. People have asked me, do you stamp first and then punch, or do you punch and then stamp? Some people do it one way, some people do it another. So far, I've been a stamp and punch or a stamp and die cut person. It's just the way I've been. So, but there's some tricks to doing that if you run out of stampability. So you go ahead and do your big umbrella here. So the trick is you can grab the paper without cutting it. So you want to grab it. It's just going to be hard for me to be calm on air without wiggling. You want to grab it. And see, I can't move it right now, but I'm not cutting it. So you can grab it and hold on to it until you get it right where you need to be. So, and usually I'm a little calmer, but that's not bad. Because it'll hold that kind of in place for you until you get it just right. And then just gently apply the pressure to it. Okay, there's one. So then you get the correct kind of edge around the outside. You won't be too close in one spot and not another. I'll have to fussy cut the boots, but I'm not going to do that right now. I have to take off my glasses and get too close to it for that. So we'll get rid of this. All right, so now you're saying, Laura, you only got a really small amount of paper there. How are you going to feed that into your punch and be able to hold it properly. I almost can, but I'm going to almost punch myself. This is where sticky notes come in handy. So take a sticky note, turn it over, put the sticky part under there, and all of a sudden your paper is longer. So put this here, get it in there, move it around a little bit till you get it in the right spot, and grab it again and slide it just a little till you're happy with it. There we go. And give it a punch. So that's it. That's how you get your paper piecing. It's hard to say piecing. It's a strange word. So I was going to show you real quick the kind of stamps that work best for this are stamps that have empty images. So this was great because you have empty images to fill. And this is a current stamp set under my umbrella. Basket of blooms, those were easily filled. Something like this wouldn't work. That wouldn't work at all. I had some great retired ones. This one's going to be cute. It's just opens up a whole new way of thinking about doing stamping. This one, can you imagine the matching teapot and tea saucer? That one would be, and these are retired. This one's not retired. I wondered about somehow getting, if there's a DSP that has like a mottled brown. I did find, did I bring it over? I did not. There was one sheet of brown wood pattern in that masculine kind of designer series paper we have in the annual catalog that would look like a dog could be colored. It looked not too woody. It might be. But anyway, I was wondering. Those would need to be fussy cut, though, which might be a little tricky. In this catalog here, your annual catalog, I ran through real quick to see what stamp sets might work. Any stamp sets that have, if any of you have these lovely stamp sets that have the clothing on them, could you imagine you could have, you'd have to fussy cut it, but I've seen where people do multiple with these and then fussy cut and you end up with a plaid shirt or a dungaree. Like I've seen lots of amazing images that people have done with that in the past. It's been a while. There was one that was a wedding dress that they did. This one would be simple. Anyone that has the hearts, that would be really pretty to do the paper piecing with. And here's some more of clothing. We have several of those. Those are beautiful. They used to have a lot more of the really beautiful illustration cards. They've kind of gotten away from that, but they do still have some. This one would be adorable. Give him some plaid pants. Retirement cards. We're all retired now, right? We're all stuck at home. And here's another one with fabrics on it down here. So maybe as a scavenger hunt, go ahead and look through the mini catalog most of you have. See what stamp sets in there might be applicable. Let me know if you found them. So, but that's it for paper piecing. Let me turn us back up. And we'll talk about what's coming next, and we'll see where you are with questions. Always takes me a minute. I was looking at our anniversary of these lives is next Tuesday, and I was looking at the very first one again, and the very first one again is one where I dropped the phone. So thank goodness. Any stamps that would help with a mother's luncheon? Probably some of those beautiful ones might. When is your luncheon, Renee? I'll have to message you about that, and we'll talk about that to see if I have anything on hand, if that's what you need. So, oh goodness, I'm really large on my iPad right now. We're not going to watch that. We'll look up here. So, what y'all think? Had any of you heard of paper piecing before? Let me look down here. Stickers are great. Stickers are in the new paper pumpkin. I'm reading your comments on a bigger screen, people. My eyes aren't what they used to be. Oh, ornate garden would be beautiful. A polka dot puppy? Seriously, Cindy? Oh, well, it might work. I don't know. It just opens up a whole new thing. So if any of you want to play around with that, I'd love to see what you come up with. I know you all have some nice designer series paper. Oh, you had heard of paper piecing. I have seen the technique before, but I never saw it. I didn't see it as a title. So, polka dot puppies. You could do a polka dot horse, right? And Appaloosa has polka dots on its back end. I don't know about puppies. It would be cute. So, if you look in the mini catalog, if those of you that have it, you will see on the page where they show that dog stamp set, there's a card. And actually the dogs are all colored. Well, they're colored with colored cardstock. So they were paper pieced. So, oh, a polka dot hippo would be great, Sharon. Now we're thinking. Okay, spotted Dalmatians. There you go. There might be black and white paper in the mini catalog. So, oh, this is fun. I never realized there'd be so many great ideas. This is where you're thanking me and you guys are coming up with the ideas. So that's just wonderful. But I just thought it'd be fun to share that technique. So everyone, what's next? We're all wondering what's coming up. Everyone that's been sharing your cards challenge cards. This is for people. We did a card challenge a few weeks ago and people made it through the first part of the challenge, opened up a second part of the challenge for them. I'm taking a break from what I'm saying to notice, Cindy, you're right. Think about a stuffed animal. There was a polka dotted, was it elephant in Rudolph on the island of Misfit Toys. So you can have a polka dotted animal. You're right. So, but anyway, those of you working on that card challenge, that's going to go till the 21st. I think I've got 4 of you with your cards done, maybe 5. So you've got just a little while until you've got another week to finish those up. So our next live on the 22nd, we will probably have some prizes. So you won't want to miss that. So, and I want to thank everyone that's been sharing what they already did because they're wonderful to see. They really are. So, and I just mentioned that our next live is on the 22nd. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I hope your brother had a happy birthday, Sylvia. And if you look ahead too, I did create an event, and I think I invited everybody. We will be having an in-person here at the house on April 24th. I know that seems like a long way away, but it will be here before we know it. Easter is right around the corner, and St. Patrick's Day is this week. So I tried to make a green drink. It came out kind of a little bit more, what color would that be? It looks like a pool party color, doesn't it? That light blue. Oh, a gingham dog and a calico cat. Now a calico cat would be great. Now we're thinking. Cheers, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day this week. Oh, that's not bad. It's been great spending some time with all of you. I know this is going long, so I'm going to wind this down. Keep stamping. Those of you working on your card challenge, good luck. If you have any questions about anything, reach out, people. Oh, before I go, I'm making these little paper pieced. If anybody wants any umbrellas or rain boots, ask me and I'll send some to you because I'm all set up to punch these out. So I can easily stamp some more. So say, yes, I'd love some boots and umbrellas, and I can send you some in the mail. So that, and I have a few of the sponge dry brush backgrounds too. So I will look through the comments and get those out to you this week. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. And I will see you next week. It's the anniversary week of us doing these lives. So talk to you all later. Bye-bye. Stay well.